Welcome back on part 2 of Atari. Let's continue. Under Trammell's ownership, Atari Corp used the remaining stock of game console inventory to keep the company afloat while they finished development on a 16/32-bit computer system, the Atari ST.
ST stands for 16/32, referring to the machine's 16-bit bus and 32-bit processor core.
In April 1985, they released an update to the 8-bit computer line, the Atari 65XE, the first in the Atari XE series.
June 1985 saw the release of the Atari 130XE. Atari user groups received early sneak preview samples of the new Atari 520 STs, and major retailer shipments hit store shelves in September 1985 of Atari's new 32-bit Atari ST computers.
In 1986, Atari launched two consoles, designed under Warner, the Atari 2600JR and the Atari 7800 console, which saw limited release in 1984.
Atari rebounded, earning a $25 million profit that year.
In 1987, Atari acquired the Federated Group for $67.3 million, securing shelf space in over 60 stores in California, Arizona, Texas, and Kansas at a time when major American electronics outlets were reluctant to carry Atari-branded computers, and 2/3 of Atari's PC production was sold in Europe.
The Federated Group, not related to Federated Department Stores, was sold to Silo in 1989.
In 1988, the company unveiled the 1040 STF and the Mega ST with a bit image manipulator chip and launched its first parallel computer.
The ATW-800 transducer was based on the Inlost T800 CPU, which had a 32/64-bit architecture, ran at 15 million instructions per second. MIPS, and housed a charity video chip that supported 16 million colors.
The company continued to experiment with parallel computing, aiming at B2B customers and graphic designers, but the transducer line failed to achieve commercial success. In 1989, Atari released the Atari Lynx, a handheld console with color graphics, to much fanfare.
A shortage of parts kept the system from being released nationwide for the 1989 Christmas season, and the Lynx lost market share to Nintendo's Game Boy, which, despite only having a black and white display, was cheaper, had better battery life, and had much higher availability.
Trammell emphasized computers over game consoles, but Atari's proprietary computer architecture and operating system fell victim to the success of the Windows platform, while the game market revived.
In 1989, Atari Corp sued Nintendo for $250 million, alleging it had an illegal monopoly.
Atari eventually lost the case when it was rejected by a U.S. District Court in 1992. In 1991, Atari released its PCs ADC-386SXII and ADC-386DXII, based on Intel's i386 chip. In 1993, Atari positioned its Jaguar as the only 64-bit interactive media entertainment system available, but it sold poorly.
It would be the last home console to be produced by Atari and the last to be produced by an American manufacturer until Microsoft's introduction of the Xbox in 2001.
By 1996, a series of successful lawsuits had left Atari with millions of dollars in the bank, but the failure of the Lynx and Jaguar left Atari without a product to sell.
Trammell and his family also wanted out of the business.
The result was a rapid succession of changes in ownership.
In In July 1996, Atari merged with JTS Incorporated, a short-lived maker of hard disk drives, to form JTS Core.
Atari's role in the new company largely became that of holder for the Atari properties and liner support, and consequently the name largely disappeared from the market. After the sale of the consumer electronics and computer divisions to Jack Tramiel, Atari was renamed Atari Games Corporation.
Atari Games retained most of the same employees and managers from the coin-operated games division and continued many of the division's projects from before the transition.
In 1985, a controlling interest in the coin-operated games division was sold to Namco, which also took the Atari Games name.
Warner renamed Atari Games to Atari Holdings, which continued as a non-operating subsidiary until 1992.
Meanwhile, Namco later lost interest in operating Atari Games.
In 1987, Namco sold 33% of its shares to a group of employees led by then President Hideyuki Nakajima.
He had been the president of Atari Games since 1985.
Atari Ireland was a subsidiary of Atari Games that manufactured their games for the European market, while under Namco, Atari Ireland also manufactured Sega's Hang-On 1985 for the European market.
Atari Games continued to manufacture arcade games and units, and starting in 1988, also sold cartridges for the Nintendo Entertainment System under the Tengen brand name, including a version of Tetris.
The companies exchanged a number of lawsuits in the late 1980s related to disputes over the rights to Tetris and Tengen's circumvention of Nintendo's lockout chip, which prevented third parties from creating unauthorized games.
The suit finally reached a settlement in 1994, with Atari Games paying Nintendo cash damages and use of several patent licenses. In April 1996, after an unsuccessful bid by Atari co-founder Nolan Bushnell, the company was sold to WMS Industries, owners of the Williams, Valley and Midway arcade brands, which restored the use of the Atari Games name.
On November 19, 1999, Atari Games Corporation was renamed Midway Games West Incorporated, resulting in the Atari Games name no longer being used.
On March 13, 1998, JTS sold the Atari name and assets to Hasbro Interactive for $5 million, less than a fifth of what Warner Communications had paid 22 years earlier.
This transaction primarily involved the brand and intellectual property, which now fell under the Atari Interactive division of Hasbro Interactive.
The brand name changed hands again in December 2000 when French software publisher Infogrames took over Hasbro Interactive. We will continue about Atari in final part, which is part 3.